Ok, vamos a empezar un par de minutitos
We're
más.
going to start in a couple of minutes.
Ok, muy buenas tardes,
Good
bienvenidos.
afternoon and welcome.
Vamos a grabar
We are
este
going to be
seminario.
recording this seminar.
Ustedes me avisan si todo
You, you,
está
you can
listo.
tell me if everything's okay and you're ready so that we can start our
Muy
recording.
buenas tardes,
Good
bienvenidos.
afternoon,
20
welcome.
de enero 2023.
This is the
Estamos
20th of
el
January of
primero de este
2023,
año
and today is the
de nuestra
first
serie
seminar of this
de
year
seminarios.
of our seminar series.
Bienvenidos a los que ya están junto a nosotros
And
en el
we
Zoom
know that
y en el Facebook.
people have joined us on Facebook and on the
Vamos a
Zoom.
empezar
So we're going to be
mientras las
starting.
personas se unen. Ok. Entonces, solo para dar algunas informaciones adicionales
We
del
want to give
webinar, si
some
necesitan
additional
interpretación,
information for the webinar. If you
ustedes
need
lo pueden revisar
interpretation,
ahí en el
you
Zoom.
can go down to the bottom of the
En el
screen
control
and
de los
zoom,
botones
and you see the control
interpretación.
there, the
Fíjense,
buttons
si
of
ven que estamos
interpretation.
en el Facebook Live,
If
pueden
you are listening to us on Facebook like, also you can
al Zoom para
live,
ver
you can
las
also do
interpretaciones.
it to
Pueden
listen to the
seguir
interpretation
este
in
tema
English.
si están
You can
hablando
also
hablan
see,
en inglés, seleccionan el
you can
idioma
also
inglés y
speak in
hablan en
English
español.
if you want, and we will be
Y
translating the interest.
solo el audio
So
original para
just
que
keep the
ustedes puedan
original
escuchar
audio on mute so that
el
we can
traductor.
do it properly.
¿Ok?
Okay.
Las reglas básicas
Some
para el
basic
día de hoy.
seminar rules for today.
En el webinar fomentamos un espacio de
We
aprendizaje y
we
respeto.
foment a space for learning and
Desactiven
respect.
micrófonos y
Please
cámaras durante el
activate
seminario.
your cameras
El
and
espacio al
microphones
final para
should
poder
be
encender
deactivated during
las
the
cámaras
seminar.
y
And
poder
please write your full
a nuestros
name,
ponentes
the
leer información adicional.
country, and the
Solo
the
díganos por
organization
favor su
in
nombre
chat,
completo, el país de donde nos están escuchando y la
and
organización
the
y
organization
fecha
that you're,
del
if
seminario.
the
También
Zoom chat, or
necesitamos
if you want
en la sección de comentarios de
in the
Facebook Live
comments
que
of
pueden
Facebook
colocar sus
likes. You
preguntas
can
poco a poco
place
mientras
your questions if
avanzamos
you
el
have them on the
seminario
chat
en el
or
chat o también
on
desde
the
el espacio
Zoom
de comentarios de
space
Facebook Live. Al final de
or
la
of
presentación de
Facebook
nuestros
Live. We
conferencistas,
want at the end of this
puedan
Facebook Live, we
obvio,
can
le vamos a dejar la
send
palabra para que
your
puedan presentar sus
your
preguntas.
questions through the
Y
section.
vamos a
And at
estar
the
al
end,
final de la
your
presentación.
questions will be
Muchísimas gracias por
responded by
estar
the
con nosotros
people that
y
would be making the
bienvenidos por
presentation. So
este,
welcome
esta
again and
sesión
thank you for
del
accompanying
curso
us
de
in
Marfan.
our sixth
Entonces,
session of the
empezando
Marfan seminars.
conociendo los
This
requisitos
is about
generales.
the water boards protecting natural resources.
¿Sí? Tenemos con
We
nosotros
have
a
with us
nuestros
as
ponentes, los
conferencees, three
conferencistas.
of them.
El primero,
The first one is Ian Drysdale,
fundador
who
de
is a
Water
founding
Association.
member of Polo Water
Muy
Association and
vamos a
expert
trabajar
on
con esta
reefs.
gran organización en Honduras.
With this
Ian es
great
especialista
organization,
con
he
maestría
is
en
an
administración
environmental
marina.
engineer with a master's in
Incluye
sustainable development.
maestría de Ian
His
de hecho,
master
la
thesis was a
creación
creation
del
of
Polo
Polo Water
Water
Association,
Association, de
which
donde
was
es
he was a founder
fundador,
of and
secretario
secretary
de la
of the
Iniciativa de la
board.
Ruta de Agua. Él
And
trabajó
he
por
worked
13
for
años como
more than
coordinador
13
por
years as a
Honduras
coordinator for
para la
Honduras
silvicultura
in the
viable
Healthy
y
Reef
es responsable
Initiative.
de la
And
publicación
this
de los
was
reportes de
the
salud
people that were responsible to
del sistema
publish the
nacional de
reports of the
salvavidas.
reef's health of the
También
SAM
con
region.
nosotros
Also with
está
us
Mayra
is
Johnson.
Mayra
Ella es la
Johnson.
administradora
She's
de Polo
administrator of Polo's
Association.
Water
Ella
Association.
es de la
She
isla
is
de Roatán,
from the island of
especialista
Roatan.
en
She is the
investigación
administrator of
en
Polo's Water
ambiente
Association
marino
since
y pues ella
2015.
nos cuenta
And
que su
she tells us that
trabajo
her
con
work
polos
with Polo's Water
tiene siempre
Association,
una gran
we found
pasión
her
por la
passion,
conservación
her
de los recursos
conservation of
naturales.
the
Ella
natural
también
resources. And this has
colabora
allowed us
con
collaborate with with the Coral
parte
Reef Alliance
administrativa
in the administrative part.
Por último,
Also, lastly
tenemos
but
a
not least, Sussy
Susy
Ochoa.
Martínez, que
She's
trabaja en la
coordinator of the
coordinación de proyectos
Polo
de
Water Association
ciencia,
projects,
con la cual hemos trabajado
and
durante
which
muchos
we've been
años.
worked
Ella
with
también
in the
es
last few years, and she is
profesora de
also
plantas,
Honduran.
así
She was born in
civil
Tegucigalpa, in the capital of
ingeniera
Honduras.
y
She's a
también
civil
trabaja
engineer, and
como
since
coordinadora de
2015 works
investigación
in the
en
Polo Water
cada uno de los
Association
proyectos
as a
relacionados
coordinator of
con
the
la mejora
projects
de
related to the
aguas residuales.
improvement of
Pero no solo eso,
residual water
realiza
system.
consultoría para
She
otras
does
ONGs en temas de
consultation
agua y
for other
saneamiento y a
NGOs
su vez
on the
es
subjects of
directora de
water and
civilización.
sanitation, and also is a
Ella es
leader of
también líder del sistema de
the
reserva
valuation
administrativo de la
of
Federación
real
Salvadoreña de
estates.
Agua.
And she's a leader of the
Damos la bienvenida
Mesoamerican
a
Reef Alliance.
gran
So welcome
asociación
to this great
Polo que está
association, Polo
dedicada
Water Association, that has been able to incorporate
para
with
brindar
a
servicios de
successful all the
calidad
actions to have the
accesibles
services of quality and accessible to
excelencia
all
para
their
brindar
users.
aguas
And it's
seguras
also
para que las
given
personas puedan
areas,
tomar
secure areas for
sin ser
tourists where they can
contaminadas. Le
swim
vamos a
in
dar la
waters that are not
bienvenida
contaminated. So we're
a
going to
dos
welcome now
de sus
to Polo
miembros.
and its
Nuestro
members,
conferencista el día de hoy que nos
our
va a presentar
conferencees,
es
who's going to
el caso de
present
éxito de la planta de
this
tratamiento
case
de hidropolos
of the
en
successful Polo Water Association
Honduras.
plant workings in Honduras. They're going to presenting what
De
they
su
have done
fundación
when since its
y
foundation up to this
algunas
moment, some of
mejoras
the improvements that
administrativas
they've had
y
to
hoy
do it,
pues
thanks
gracias
to
al
MAR funds in
apoyo
part, and to thank the group
voluntarios
of
de
community
ONG
and
y demás
other
socios
NGOs
asociados.
and members of the
Damos la
region.
bienvenida y
We
solamente para
welcome
recordarles que
you again, and
nuestros
to remember
seminarios
that
están
our
en línea.
seminars are
Pueden encontrar
online.
grabaciones
You can
de
also
este
find
seminario y
the
los
recordings,
anteriores.
as also you can find other seminars on our
Organizaremos en
web
el futuro
page. So
este enlace
we
y pueden
know that we
seguirnos
can
en nuestras
count
redes
on the
sociales,
links that we
Facebook,
have
Twitter,
of Facebook,
Instagram
Twitter,
y
and Instagram,
LinkedIn. Así que
and
quiero
LinkedIn
darle la
too.
bienvenida, un gran aplauso
We are
a
so
nuestros conferencistas del día
a
de hoy,
great applause
Ian,
for our
Sussy y
conferencees today,
Mayra.
Ian
Les
and
cedo la
Myra,
palabra y
and you've got the
pueden
microphone to be able to start
el screen.
this, and we are sharing the screen with you.
Muchísimas gracias, Elisa. Y bueno,
Thank
para
you very
nosotros
much,
es,
Elisa, and
¿verdad?
thank you very
Nuestra
much
pleasure
for
poder compartir
it's a pleasure
experiencias
for us to share this
y poder
experience
continuar
and be able
demostrando, ¿verdad?, cómo
develop and
una de las
demonstrate
organizaciones
with the help of so many organizations of
apoyo
our funds,
semicircular de
we've been able
seguridad.
to go plow ahead. So thank you.
Podemos ver tu presentación, solo que estás en mute, Susi.
Okay, here's the
Bueno,
presentation, and you're in mute, so we can
para que
go
iniciemos.
ahead.
Muy bien, muchas gracias y bienvenidos
Thank
de
you
nuevo.
very much, and welcome
Al
once more
ingresar, bienvenidos a
to
todos, buenas tardes.
coming into
Por
this
favor, si pueden
seminar.
sus
Please put your
nombres, su
names,
organización, el
your
país donde nos
organizations
escuchan en el chat
in the
y
chat,
cualquier
and
pregunta
any
también para poder
questions that you might
hacerle al
have,
final de la
we will be able to
presentación a
answer
nuestros
at the
conferencistas.
end
Muchas gracias y
of our
bienvenidos.
session by the conferencees themselves. Okay, go ahead, Ian. You've got the microphone. Good afternoon. It's a real pleasure to be with you here. And this, you can see this beautiful beach. This is the beach called Half Moon Bay. And for it's an honor that this is one of the cleanest beaches of Ratan and of all the Bay Islands themselves. So who is Polo Water and what motivated this movement? The Polo Water Association is an organization, it's a community with a non-profit organization in charge of the operation and maintenance of the potable water systems and sanitation of the community, and they have all the infrastructure that needs for sewage treatment. I lived in Ratan since the year 2000, and we talking with other colleagues, we've realized that the system of water in the West End community in 2005 was not a good system. It was continuous. You didn't have water all day round. The quality was not good. When we talked to the neighbors, that we've seen that people that have different prices for water because if they were friends of the board members, or that it was really there was everything was with all the residual water was handed through water tanks or cisterns or septic tanks only. So they didn't even have a fund for be able to make the investments that they need to make the improvements and to have projects to improve their network in the community. Where are we located? West End is like the jewel of it's a very small town. That's the Bay of Half Moon Bay you can see in the video and in the island of Ratan, and it's part of the Mesoamerican Reef system, the second largest reef system in the world. And as you can see from this video, everything was concentrated on the water. So you have to really manage sewage waters very, very well, because as you can see, if not, the water flow right into the water of the beaches. So here we go. We've gone ahead too much on the presentation, so we're going to go back to it. Now where we started, here we go.
Un momentito, perdone.
No hay ningún problema. Entonces, en el 2005, estas
Since
personas
2005, the leaders of the community wanted to have a changes. We had a community of the water board to tell them that we were not at all happy with what was happening. So we did the community divided into two. One part of it was managed by the old board, and the other one was in the nascent Polo Waters Association. So we started legalizing. We also try to get the funds needed to be able to buy the lands needed and construct the tank and the micro water systems that we needed at each. So we had to participate in. So before the board, we had a basic before this. Everybody had to just pay $10. So that was a tremendous amount of waste because there was no measurement of the water. So when we had the micrometers, we was very advanced. And then afterwards we get into chlorinating it too as well, and this in our things, and we start to dig more wells because we found that there wasn't enough to have the water supply to all the community that we wanted to be able to address. So that's it. So when we did that, what we tried to do something which was the initiated of the treatment of sewage water, capture of various bank accounts and control. So we wanted to make a really transparent by opening these bank accounts. We wanted to have them pay them at the bank directly, and so nobody handled any money, and it was very transparent for the cable and every other thing. So we have wanted to manage it just like other services would do as a water, but that everything should be managed that way. So that there, Sussy and Mayra arrived, and we were able to create a new office where we would be able to have a service for our clients, and where we had an actual we have an actual invoice where you can see what the the measurement or the gauging of the water flow was, to be able to find out if there was some problem inside. There was something that was leaking, and we were able to create with the official of the water of how much or the water should cost, but we were able to do it officially of what the value of the water was. It was based upon we are up to the most transparent water board in the country, and also in the entire reef, the entire region of the Marfan. Here.
Sí, aquí le damos espacio a Mayra. Muchísimas gracias.
Okay, Mayra's going to take over. Thank you, Ian. There's been a tremendous leadership in the community with a very clear vision to do what was like a challenge, but little by little, all those challenges was said. So Mayra, now please go ahead. So tell us about the potable water in West End. I will be talking to you a bit about our experience regarding drinking or potable water. We're going to start with what we call the micro gauging or metering, right? It's a very important for potable water, because it's an efficient way of rationalizing the consumption of water, because the person who's paying the bill only pays for what it consumes. As also we must, and we also had the plumbers to be able to address the needs of water leaks and reduction, right? And so when we were able to find out that the consumption was much more than what was usual. So we had so when we know that somebody's having more than what they should be consuming water, we have a session where we will be able to go into their property to find out where this leak is, to be able to find out what's happening, to see how one of our beneficiaries or our clients is actually doing. And as Ian was saying before, yes, we have the audio coming in with Emilio Ramos. Okay. So as I was commenting to you, this community there were two, as Ian was saying, there were two water boards, and then afterwards, the Polo Water System Association actually took over all the area, and we took the advantage of being able to repair the broken pipes that were there, and all the different things that was wrong with the project. That it was very important to be able to give it the right. So we started to then install these micrometers, and we can say that now, because of this, has a very rational way of being able to manage the system. So that's how we were able to make sure that the beneficiaries or the clients were getting improved water delivery systems. Okay, here's Emilio Ramos, an operator and user of the systems, and he talked about before that we had any micro measurement of it. There was a lot of. So we're going to present a small video, and she's introducing him to the Emeralds, and he's a collaborator of the Polo Association, and he's be able to tell us when we started to have the water metering. So we're going to be able to go ahead. So Emilio Ramos says that this is the way we were, because since we didn't have any meter measurements, we had to be able to see what we didn't know what was happening with our clients and the users of the water system. So it was necessary. We had we had a tank, but there was never enough water because the people were consuming, or the leaks in the pipes were so great that we couldn't actually do anything about it. So that's the way we did it. We designed the system of micro metering, and we were able to do it in a transparent and efficient way. Thank you, she says.
Pasamos a la siguiente diapositiva, Susi. Gracias.
So here we got the next slide. We could see we have 471. It's approximately 5,000 people that are and we distribute 11,000 cubic meters per month. So to offer this services, we have to have 4 tanks and in the water system. And there are cisterns there that we were able to have enough water to be able to do it. So we have the pumping stations to be able to get the water from the wells into the holding tanks themselves. Okay, next slide, please. As you can also see, we've also been able to integrate solar energy into the system of potable water in 2 of the wells. This was also done by Engineers Without Borders, and there was a really great support for us, and this, of course, reduced the cost of electrical consumption in these 2 wells. It was magnificent, so we can get cheaper water if it would be.
Muchísimas gracias, Mayra. Y algo que quería rescatar.
Thank you, Mayra. And we want to show that.
Para nosotros también,
so for us, it was very, we wanted to see how we could make it as sustainable as possible. And so this is the way we were able to do so, right, with the solar energy. And you know, the amount of water that was not measured, and the leaks that were not measured was enormous. So we were able to, through these measurements, be able to systematize and make things much more protected. So what was the problem when they didn't have water? So they were all they were thinking about before is to create bigger and a larger tank to hold the water, but it wasn't that. The micro metering was the solution to all these problems, to be able to manage the water properly, and this is what we did. So now I would like to ask Ian to comment a little bit about the treatment of the sewage waters, and particularly in our areas of the coast. And it's very important because of the communities that we have right next to the water.
Okay. ¿Qué sucede? El Caribe es realmente un desierto. Por eso es que sus aguas son tan
So what
transparentes.
happens? The Caribbean is really a desert. That's why the water is so transparent. When you compare it with the Pacific, you see the difference. Because the water is so transparent because it doesn't have nutrients. And that is what the reefs need. It's clear, crystalline, and low nutrient levels. And when the treatment of the wastewater is inadequate, the contaminated water affects human beings, transmitting illness, diseases such as cholera, diarrhea, hepatitis, typhoid, skin diseases. So also corals are very susceptible animals, and to the entering of nutrients in the water. So what happens when nutrients reach the water, and if you are also at an area where there's a lot of overfishing and there are very few herbivore fish, the algae are very happy because they have a lot of nutrients and they are growing faster. This is what happens when you have non-treated wastewaters, and they allow the algae to grow faster and the coral will start dying. And we can see this through scientific literature, that when there is wastewater that's untreated on the reef, the corals present greater amount of diseases. They weaken them and they become more susceptible to other diseases such as coral bleaching and other diseases such as the stony coral tissue loss. So it is very important for all communities that are close to a coral reef that they should not have any type of non-treated wastewater in their area. So the human beings that visit these areas should also keep this into account. Thank you very much, Ian. And there are also studies that say that the diseases related to the deficiency of access to water and sanitation are causing that 58% of children under 5 are dying because of intestinal diseases at a world level. And this is what Polos wants, to improve the well-being of people. We also want the tourists that arrive here can swim in non-contaminated waters, beaches free of contaminants. And this is not just Polos water, but also many other organizations in the area that are working hand in hand. So we will now, I would like to share with you the water plant in West End. And here we can see this was built with funds from the municipality. And this is a plant of activated sludge. And so that the organic material can decompose. And I will explain the process a little fast. Our topography system is a little flat, and so our wastewaters come by gravity, but everything is done by pumping from the plant. And we have a primary system you can see over here. This is where the wastewater enters, and the larger matter are removed, and then they pass to this other part where there's sand. They are removed, and then they pass to another area where the fats are also removed before entering this other area here. So from here, where the arrow is to follow the arrow, where the tank of reactors, we see an aeration system where some bacteria are placed, and they are in charge of decomposing all this organic matter. They eat it. And so once this organic matter is here in this chocolate color material, they pass to the other area of clarification. As you can see, the water is clearer over here. So everything that was soluble went decreased. It went to an area where there is sludge, and in this clear-up area, it passes to this pipe over here. There's some dispensers here where there are some pills of chlorine, and that is where the disinfection is made. And then it reaches its final stage, and where the water is already disinfected. So what happened to the sludge that remains here in the bottom part? And they pass to a well of sludge, let's say, and they go through another process. Finally, they go to a dehydration system, and these are all removed and are thrown away. So we have a part for sludge and a part for water. And the water area is free of contaminants, disinfected, and we carry out lab tests in this, and also monthly monitoring. And there is a capacity of treating 500 cubic meters per month. And we have a greater availability of capacity because so far we are only receiving about 260 cubic meters at this moment. These are our first projects with MARFund. And this project, this first project is calling technical rehabilitation of wastewaters, and this was in 2016. You can see the image at the top where the plant had some needs for improvement and maintenance. And then look what happened later. There was some repairs on the walls. We bought equipment and extensions, and as well as the construction of a roof. Why? Because as Mayra mentioned before, one of the highest operational costs that we have in Roatan is energy, consumption of energy. So we need to start thinking about manners to reduce these operational costs. Not just that, but also to look for renewable energy so that we can have a more sustainable energy system. So this a roof that is facing the south was built that way so that we could later install our solar panels, as you can see with MARFund Fund. We and Coral Reef Alliance also helped us with this system, and we were able to expand this roof, and all our projects have had the input from other organizations, same as Polo's Water too. And we have been able to achieve a savings in these 4 years of $43,000 that we have not had to pay for energy because we have these solar panels. So we would like to tell these organizations and water boards to start thinking of these alternatives for saving energy and also so they can be sustainable. So let's pass to the second stage. Here is a project that we started with Coral Funds. And as I mentioned, we have sought alliances and synergy with other organizations. Here is our office with the containers that were donated, and we were able to build these too. So whenever you would like to visit us, you are very welcome. We can take you around the plant. We also have something else that was not only necessary, such as repairing the plant, but once it is ready, we have to make sure that the users would connect to the system. But sometimes, because of the economic situation, sometimes the costs are very high and labor can be high and expensive. So we decided to support, to give the population in the connection. So we started to use the MARFund funds and others, where we were able to connect 31 properties this year. And then we continued with a second stage with Coral, and we continued to connect other properties to the sewage system. And we were able to connect 130 new connections. And now we have a total of 289 users. These 289 users mean that 99% of the property owners that have access to this sewage system, 99% are connected of the people that have access to this sewage system. And this is causing an improvement in marine quality. And we can see the Healthy Reef reports that are naming us or including us as an example in West End. Sometimes it is difficult for some users to say yes to the change and accept it, but the government has also given us support with a new ordinance, a new law that we have requested. And we said, and they said, yes, we will apply it. It's possible. This ordinance mandates that all people that have access to the sewage system have to connect to it. It also indicates that the users have to have micrometers for a correct usage of this resource. And the practice is that not only
mejora la situación de la población.
that this type of practices not only helps our own situation, it reduces operational costs, it helps visitors also, and many other things. And in the past, many of these things would, our pumps would be damaged very quickly. The tubes, the pipes would be full of fat or fatty matters. And as you see, with joint effort together with the users and each one of us together, this is possible. So we all are continuing to move forward in this manner. This is an example of cleaning the septic tanks that we have done with Marfund. In this project, we took a little truck. There was a tank that water tank that was donated. And this project was born because when we made the connections to the sewage system, we saw that there was a lot of leaks. And we said, well, we've got to find a way to make sure that everybody who is connected, that their septic tanks are free of any kind of wastewaters, because we have a very sandy type of soil. And if there is a leak, what's going to happen? It's going to reach the subsoil, the aquifer, and finally the ocean. So we revised all the septic tanks. The ones that had water were cleaned, and the ones that didn't, well, thank God, this gave us a security that we are sure now that there is no water remaining there. We prepared this manual in English and Spanish, and it explains what the whole system of water is, the experience of Polos. And something else that I love is that it has species from our Caribbean area, and you can see them with their scientific name. And it's also in digital form, so if you would like to access this, we can provide it to you.
Educación, ¿verdad? También Marfund nos ha apoyado.
Also, Marfund has supported us in the purchase of equipment. These are submergible pumps that are used for improving the elevating stations, and these stations need to have pumps in case they are damaged or harmed. And so here we were making a change of all the valves, and because, as you know, the wastewater tends to produce rust. And we are also, because we're on the coast, well, rust is something that rusting occurs very often. And we also had a main station where all the water is concentrated. And it was very important that it would never stop, that if one of these stations stops working, well, the wastewater would finally reach the street, and we don't want to cause contamination. So we would like to thank all the donors for their contributions. This has really been very helpful. And there has been a lot of help during the pandemic, and where things were very difficult. And this was our previous project, and we are executing one with Marfund, but this was before, and I would like if Mayra could comment a little bit about the time, how we managed during the pandemic with Polos, and how the funds of all the donors of Marfund and Coral supported us to be able to move forward and never stop providing this important service to the community.
En estos años de COVID, que fueron muy difíciles para nosotros, de facturar un 100% o de recibir un 75% de lo facturado, bajamos a recibir un 25%. Todos los comercios pues cerrados, aparte de que recibíamos solamente el 25%, no podíamos hacer cortes, ¿verdad? Era inhumano, por decirlo así, era cuando más la población necesitaba este recurso. Pero los costos no bajaban. ¿Por qué? Porque las bombas deben de seguir 24/7, ¿verdad? Tenemos que seguir tratando el agua, entonces pues ni modo, había que tocar puertas y, ¿verdad? Gracias a estas organizaciones que pues no nos dejaron de la mano, dijeron pues aquí está, y nos apoyaron, ¿verdad?, con lo que fue los gastos administrativos. Así que tenemos muchísimo que agradecerles. Y gracias a ellos, pues, pudimos seguir en función esos 2 años.
Así es, Mayra. Muchísimas gracias. Y bueno, esto es nuestra planta de tratamiento. Antes, nuestra planta de tratamiento tenía como sistema de aireación estas bombitas que ven por acá. Creo que no se aprecian muy bien, pero estas bombitas nos daban grandes problemas. Problemas en cuanto se dañaban constantemente, había fluctuaciones de energía y se nos dañaban. Pues estamos en una isla, nos costaba encontrar quien nos reparara. Entonces, ¿eso qué pasaba? Que nuestra planta necesita cierta cantidad de oxígeno disuelto, ¿verdad? Si llega a reducir ese oxígeno disuelto, nuestra bacteria muere. Y si muere, pues nos trae consecuencias en la calidad del efluente. Entonces se realizó un estudio, ¿verdad?, de mejoras y nos indicaba de que había necesidad de cambiar este sistema. Entonces, Smartphone pues nos apoyó y logramos instalar con fondos Smartphone este sistema de aireación. Estos que están acá se llaman difusores de burbuja fina, que son inyectados con este compresor de 20 HP con un sistema de tuberías, ¿verdad? Entonces todo esto hace una distribución de aire. Aquí pues estábamos haciendo pruebas, ¿verdad? Hicimos pruebas con agua potable.
So yes, these are the aeration that we have in in those micro nozzles that we have there. With this plan, we had incredible improvement of the quality of water. We have with the coliforms and other things that we were able to use. So if it was more than 60,000 cubic meters, not cubic meter, but there are parts per 1,000. So she mentions what the different norms are of the coliforms that was we've got lower than the norms say as we have, for example, we had 200 units per million. So we're now doing what we've been able to do by measuring the innocuity of our residual waters and see what is happening there. And we will show you later on what the quality of the water is and the monitoring that we're doing. So therefore, here we have the equipment that we have with Bika and Alliance. We've had be able to do those and also have a monitoring of the quality of water to be able to see what of the with analysis we've done and share our results with the variations it has. As you can see, is an imagine of how water comes into the system, and this is that's how the water actually leaves our water plant. So it's really a tremendous difference. We can see the difference between one and the other, and we're doing about 25 million gallons of residual water annually. So we can carry on with the next slide. Yes, here's a project that they're now going to be executed. We want to build this tank that we're with the values of nitrogen to be able to see, and this new tank is going to be able to help us be able to deal with this situation of the nitrogen in the water. And we're going to be able to work with different people on be able to give the right system and improve our service. And this is what we were doing, and as far as of children and youth and adults to be able to know what we do and why we do the things that we do. And so we're strengthening the education system because of that. We want everybody to know how things work, and we know that we have with this new education program of children to be able to have them know what's happening in this. We're also working with Roatan Park and others operators so that they must know the importance of their work in treating the water and sewage. So the quality of water is very, very important, and those it impacts the reef so greatly. So to be able to make sure that those people know what's happening, and so we have these training sessions of how to manage these waters. Here we have, for example, the work that we're working on in the kindergarten and in schools with the community. What we are doing is putting together with other organizations to see what this center will be able to know what, so the children be able to know what is happening with the water situation in their communities. As you said, is very it's in collaboration with others, and we're able to do so. So it's been a tremendous blessing, if you would, and those have been the benefits that we've been able to see. And what happens when we see these things? This has allowed us to have funds to be able to operate, to have an efficient and to make our system larger, right? Access to international funds, improve the quality of the life of the people that we're doing it, and also give the objectives of the sustainable development objectives and be able to fulfill them. As you could see, to be able to guarantee the availability of water and the sustainable management of the sanitation for everybody. So here we know that we have now a blue flag on our beaches, because we've removed the contamination from the water, because we'd be able to do so in a sustainable way. And therefore, we know that this can be also replicated in other places as well. So this is how we started, with a vision, with a quality of water and the residual waste treatment. So we'd be able to really have the community really having a Polo Water Association work together with the communities, and we can see this now here with this blue. What it means that this community has a series of indicators that have a marine quality water and of the solids that go into the beaches. So we have said we thank very much all the collaborators that we've had for the Polo Water Association. But if without their help, it wouldn't have been possible. So thank you very much.
Muchísimas gracias a ustedes, Ian,
Thank you all very much. And Sussy, Mayra, thank you for sharing these achievements. It's incredible the amount of work that has been done since the foundation of Polos, and with the support of all the donors, the community, all the colleagues, the partners that you have now that are working together with you. You have been able to achieve all of this. Not only the effectiveness and the efficacy of the treatment plant, but also to become closer to the community, the staff, all the training, working with children, with youth, among other things. Also, your new office, that now you can be working very happily in your own space, working with the community, having cleaned all those septic tanks that needed so much work, because all the residue would go into the water of the reef and would also sink into the soil. and the work that you have also been doing regarding saving, to be able to use the natural resources, to be able to work with solar energy, to be more efficient. And also to have less contaminants, not only in the water, but also in the environment, in the air, and all the rest. So we really thank you. And if all the participants could turn on their cameras to give a very, very warm applause to our speakers. And then we can leave a space open now for any questions. You can turn on your microphones. If you can open your microphones now so that we can hear your applause. Thank you, Polos, for your participation in this seminar and all the work that you have done. And we see that it's not going to finish here, it's going to continue, and that this is a success case in the Mar area. So I'm going to open up a few minutes for questions, or if anyone would like to congratulate personally, you may turn on your microphone, or we could read your messages on the chat. And again, thank you very much. Judith, you have your hand up. Thank you very much, Elisa, and thank you, Polos, for your presentation. Congratulations for this work. I would like to ask a question regarding, because examples like this are so necessary in all the Mesoamerican region. And so I'd like to ask you, what do you think that we need to consider based on the success you have had to be able to start this kind of project in other communities of the region? I think the three of us are going to give an answer, a little bit each one of us. Transparency and fund management has been the key to the success. Do you remember the amount of funds that we have managed during these 15 years? Well, donation funds. In Polo, we have managed about more than $700,000 and for more than 12 projects that we have executed. And so really, when you see it, we say, wow, this is really a very large management task when the donors will do these donations through the government or through international organizations. And it's really difficult to find water boards that are doing this in this manner. So I think it is necessary in the water board and the board of directors. We could see there was diversification. We could find leaders, and really these are leaders with a vision. And I think that that is something that we have to have, a diversity of technicians, and to want to see the different visions of the same thing. And we had Ian as an environmental engineer. We had business people. We had people that are very great leaders in the community, very active in the community. And all of these people have incredible ideas. And this also was able to position them where they were. This teamwork, not just saying I could have to do this alone or I can do it alone. No, we needed the strength from other people. So we approached them and we looked for that synergy. And I think that was part of the success. Yes, and adding to what Susie just said and Ian, well, yes, because of this, we have been able to have the confidence of the people, the trust of the people. And it's important that the community should trust the organization. It is very important. And this closeness to the community, being able to speak freely. And also, well, we have these very sociable faces in our group, and it has been much easier because of that. So this for Ian, Sussy, and Mayra, their work was made much easier because of this all these years. Don Carlos Vigil, it's so nice to hear your voice today. Thank you very much, colleagues. It is really very stimulating to hear this kind of experience, and how wonderful that Marfan has found Polo's Water and other co-managers in the Roatan sector, and Utila Naguanaja with partners and collaborators such as Polo's Water. I think that this is a project that can be very sellable, very attractive for other areas that are similar. And I wanted to consult whether the local and municipal authorities and the central authorities of the water sector are regulating this kind of water system. Have they shown any interest? Have there been any links of cooperation with them and with the local authorities and with the regulating authorities, water regulating authorities in Honduras? And this is something that is really, really worthwhile. The effort was worthwhile. It has also required a lot of leadership, a lot of commitment, conviction on behalf of those who are in the field. So congratulations. Thank you, Don Carlos. Yes, we have been very close, and we have felt a lot of support from the regulating entity of the water, snaps, and something the coral organization is also working closely with another organization, which is the CONASA, the National Organization for Water and Sanitation, to bring technical assistance and also other services in the area. And there has been some support. So we feel that we can continue to work hand in hand. There's also Sunny Tour. We have had some connection to see how we can also attract some more investment to the area, because we need to expand this network. And so we're having conversations and hoping that in the future we can expand. No one has said no so far, so we're very happy about that. Ian?
Carlos, it's a pleasure to see you after so many years. So the experience has to do with the community experience. The community itself is an example of how it should work together. The other communities will do so. When we work with your own funds and you create the confidence and the transparency of managing funds, you have to not try to not depend upon other people, but the community itself. And that, as we demonstrate in the transparent and straight pathway, they want to be able to be part of this project. And that's we hope that everybody might be Argentine after the World Soccer Cup. Yes, but this is what happens with this. The users basically are those that they become the promoters of it. They talk about it, and they really know, and they're living the benefits of the things. And so to try to build up internally and not depend upon people from the outside.
también viene y
Something that's also happened with polos is because when polo becomes legalized, then they can really access funds. It can make purchases in a better way. Everything can be but smooth. So everything starts with the legalization of the association. And it's very, very important because if you don't have the legality of being able to do so, and if you don't have operating costs and you don't have a transparent system, then the system itself will not work. The community will not pay for it. So at the end, you'll be criticized and the whole system won't, because we won't have funds for repairs, for maintenance, and other things. So I think the legal incorporation are very, very important for water boards, as others are also available too.
Sí, excelente. Muchas gracias a
So
todos.
thank you very much to everybody. Just to mention, Carlos, the presentation of the recording will be done, and we'll have it on our webpage, and you can be able to consult it. And we're going to be able to share any other questions that might have with the other associations, that be able to be in contact with any other association. We'll have that information, and so you can have the interchange that you need to be able to do so and complement this type of very, very sort of treatment system that was so important that we're trying to promote, and all of Honduras should follow the example of what can be done in the right way, not only in the islands but also everywhere in the country. I am going to thank all the participants. It's already 5 o'clock. We can have it going on for a couple of more minutes. There was a very important chat question, and they say if they have copy of the presentations, and also everybody's writing to us about the people that were the conferencees, and we're very happy. And we hope that everybody will be able to follow your example. And also the last is Mario writes to us saying it's important to know this when we start. So what can we do to be able to start this from zero? If there was something, was a feasibility study at the beginning, or what was the first what was the process and the initiation of to be able to have the success that this project has had, and also the closeness working with the municipality of what work or what studies had to be done before you actually started.
Okay.
They're asking Ian to answer the question. There's two subjects. One is potable water, and the other one is residual waters or sewage treatment. We started with the potable water, and then went into the sewage system. Once we had a lot of information that we got from the potable water system itself, and it's a little more, it's more simple because it's a pumping a question of pumping it into the fields, and of course there was engineering figures had to be made. We had to know what size of tanks of them. But I think that the first way to start is to have a manual to be able to access the funds, that actually we've got something available that says how to go step by step, actually getting the flow of what's the very detail with this manual, to be able to see what are the steps to take and the dimensions of how we can have to approach to the users, and how come So I would start there with those manual is available in the MAR fund as well as the Healthy Reef also. So if you don't write to us, and we will be happy to share this manual with us. Or the best thing would be go to West End, and you know that Mayra will give you a copy of it personally.
Excelente. No, sí,
Excellent.
compartir el manual
Thank
con
you. We're going to
nosotros,
share this
con
manual, everybody here,
Ian, Susie y Mayra.
and
Y
Susie and Mayra.
ya
Yes,
está, pero lo
and
vamos a subir
we
a
are
la
already
sección de webinarios
we're
para
we're
después,
also
para
put
que
it
también
into this
todos los
webinar
estudiantes puedan
pages as
encontrar
well.
el
This manual
es
will be very easy to
como
access
base, ¿verdad?
as a basis to be able to
No
start
es 100%
initiate
completo
properly.
porque es un manual
It's
para la
not a
comunidad, no
it's a manual for the community, so it's not for other things.
Pero igual,
So, but to also tell the person that's asking question, it depends on the population, the topography, and the capacity they might have to design the thing. So you have to have certain studies for Western. We did do studies, and we started with that because as we did some geologicals to also know what the capacity of the soil was, and because we're in sandy soil, we have to be analysis and studies to be able to see how we could do the wells and the depth of the wells and all those things had to be done. But basically, I think that it's in the second step. Once you have the leaders, you have those people that want to do it. If you put your foot that if you put your finger on that point, then you can continue to the next steps and to have that benefit for the communities, because it's a process that has to be done hand in hand with the communities themselves. And it was hard for them as founders at the beginning, but at the end, there was a great benefit and to be able to knock on the doors, even though they're difficult to do, because until they open up to us, even they say that we won't do it, you've got to insist and continue on. And also have a lot of patience, she says, Carla says. It's very important. And we thank you very much, and we congratulate you once. Please continue with your work in Polo, and please share all these achievements and experiences that you've had with other people, and put us into and have the spark to be able to start off other things in the Mesoamerican Reef. So before going, please, if you can see the chat, we've left a form to be able to improve these webinars that we have. Please fill those. There's very few questions. Please do it. Take a few minutes to do it, to have your opinion and to be able to make the improvements that we need to do it, because we have to be very that we are going to have more projects and successful seminars and tools in 2023 that we will be able to do for the use of other people in this area for different subjects. It could be La Carla. We have education, other systems for roofing and other things that are very interesting. So please continue to be with us on our social media. So thank you very much, Mayra, Ian. Thank you very much, and congratulations for the work that you've done. And we hope you have a very good weekend and continue with the work that you're doing for our reef. Thank you very much, she says, Paula says, and Ian says, and the more people intervened on the And congratulations and good luck on the challenge that you'll face in the future. So thank you very much, everybody, of all the people that are here. And thank you for it's very important to have the achievements that we be able to do so. Thank you very much, Desian. So goodbye.